Howdy, everyone. Good to be here. Good to be back in the booth. I know it's been a while. Different voice alongside Mr. Delgado here, so bear with me, everybody. But yeah, really looking forward to a fun race here at Old Atlanta. Different from last weekend at New Atlanta, the Echo Park Speedway, as they call it nowadays. But yeah, looking forward to some old-fashioned racing, so to speak. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what these guys put on here for us.
I think we do have our audio working now. Glad to be here in Atlanta Motor Speedway, and love to have Matthew back here in the booth. Had some technical difficulties there, but yes, looking at some of your fastest there in practice, we saw Christian Zarate out there take a spin there, and as well as Benjamin Bushnell, he top three in practice, and coming with a minute and a half. Matthew, looking at some of these. Uh, Cars out on track here obviously are very unique from I feel like a lot of the tracks that a lot of these tracks will come to here in these nations with kind of just the wore out, just kind of uh, rough old surface here from this old Atlanta track.
Yeah, and seeing how we obviously at the Old Atlanta Motor Speedway since the reconfiguration happened. We obviously all remember Kurt Busch winning the #1 car back when Chip Ganassi Racing was still around, and those cars were sliding all around. It was a fun, slick track, and we don't really have too much actual real life data and representation of what the racing product would be like with the next gen. So looking forward to seeing how this car, which is very gripped up, uh, lot of a lot of dirty air going to come into play here, and particularly when you think about the next gen, these things are going to be really tight and sturdy in the corners, and so seeing how these drivers are going to step up to the plate with this car track combination should be really fun for us to watch.
I definitely agree. See practice winding down here at Atlanta. It looks like Oliver Quinney will be fastest in practice. Maybe he can take that momentum into qualifying into the race. But yeah, definitely something to look at, and obviously something to talk about, right? When it comes to setup wise, when it comes to stuff like this, right? I mean, obviously this is a track that we obviously don't come to in real life anymore. I don't even think officials come here when it comes to the iRacing official session. So it's definitely going to take some getting used to with the new update, with the new driving model, with just how things have changed with the next gen, right? I haven't even driven this new next gen with the New Atlanta with the new updates and stuff. As someone who really only races this car outside of broadcasting stuff, but as we get ready to look at getting to qualifying here, let's go ahead and try to find someone who's out on track right now. Looks like the 55 of Gabriel Ngoli out on track here in this number 55 Ford Mustang.
Gooley taking it out onto the banking here, exiting the pit out. Going to see him get up to speed here. Something that I'm really looking forward to seeing, Christian, is how these guys are going to stack up with one another, because like we were talking about with the setup, this is a fixed setup to my understanding, and a lot of these guys are really going to have to dig deep and really hone in their driving style and their individual ability to take on this track, since everyone is running the same setup here.
Exactly. The fixed setup really kind of, especially at a track like this where, I mean, a lot of the drivers probably don't have a lot of experience with this new set and stuff, and all with the new update and everything else, with that well-being, and also to put on top of that, just with the way the new update is, really the only time you can set a fast lap here is that first lap. Usually, that second lap around is slower than that first lap. But you see, Gabriel right now currently set your fastest time with a 29.965. Looks like Alex Krasinski back there in P2 in that 72 machine at 29.992.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind here is that despite this Atlanta Speedway being a 1.5 mile oval, we're really gonna have to remember that these guys are reaching upwards of right above 190 miles per hour on corner entry, and so these guys are really wheeling it, getting into the corner here. And so something to keep in mind as we see some of these qualifying times come in. Currently, Gooley at the top.
Right now, Gabriel still your pole sitter, but we still have some big hitters to come out on track. Dorian Davis, last week's winner, coming out onto the backstretch here to start his lap.
Yeah, Dorian Davis getting it done last week at the Echo Park Speedway, as mentioned, that we went to last weekend. He was behind the wheel of the 88 WeatherTech machine last weekend. Got to see some cool burnouts, victory celebration. And obviously, Dorian Davis racing for the Mach 5 racing team. And today he's displaying a little bit of a different paint scheme, 88 Slurpee car, being to go by the back straightaway.
You see him right now sitting there P3 in practice with that 30.006. So still a decent run out of him. You see Wyatt Youngblood back there in the one machine, a teammate of that 88 machine back there in P4. We still continue to see some guys continue to set some laps out here. It looks like Gio Turpin, not the lap he wanted. P15 for him, who's always considered to be a quick driver here. But here comes Christian Zarate sliding across there. I thought he was going to set a lap there. Maybe didn't like the lap he wants to, but gets, a minute and a half to set that one last time from this 53 machine.
Yeah, I'm talking about Gio Turpin right there, currently sitting 7th in the point standings in the Prestige Cup Series, and I really like what they're doing with their Legacy Sim Club, because I really enjoy the old-fashioned Richard Petty Enterprise number font, and they're paying homage to that with their racing team and really embracing that racing culture. Yeah, currently looking at qualifying right about now. Yeah, good.
Qualifying complete here, and Gabriel Goli going to be tonight's winner here in for qualifying here for the Hendrick Cars 192 presented by Mach 5 Motorsports. And we talked about, we had a couple of Mach 5 cars out there. Obviously, the 88 of Dorian Davis going to be the quickest out of that qualifying. But speaking of Dorian Davis and everybody else, we'll sit and let some of these drivers come out on track and get ready to get the setups in it. Obviously, here in the next gens, they really do have a lot of tools in the shed before that they hop into these race cars to get the car set up for the race. Obviously, you can change the MCs, which really helps with the slowing down of the cars. Obviously, the rack and pinion steering is a lot different here in the next gen compared to any other car, really on the NASCAR side of things. So you can really adjust what you can and cannot do in this car. So we'll wait on some of these guys to get everything set up, and we'll get you starting grid here at Atlanta.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind with these next gen, these drivers are really going to have to be focusing the small tweaks and adjustments right about now, because as soon as they strap in, there's no more going back. So looking forward to seeing our starting lineup here right now.
We have most of our drivers out. Let's go ahead and get your starting lineup here presented by High Velocity TV for your starting row. Gabriel Goli, fastest in qualifying with that time of a 29.956. Alex Krasinski back there going to round out that row 2. Dorian Davis P3 with his teammate Wyatt Youngblood going to round out that row 2 back there in P4. P5, Zach Case in the 66 with Andrew Tinold back there in P6. Brian White in the 84. P7 with Jonathan Dolly, P8. And rounding out that top 10, Nicholas Hamons and Brandon Kiger going to round out that top 10. And Matthew's going to round out the rest of the field here.
The rest of the field, number 25, Benjamin Bushnell, piloting that 25 car in row 6. Joseph Enright to his side in the number 7 car, row 6 as well. Moving on to the 7th row right behind him, Oliver Kinney. We saw him really fast in practice, wasn't able to pull it off in qualifying. Let's see if he can scrape up some good positions on the start here. Devin Galvin to his outside. And then Gio Turpin right behind him in 8th place in that 42 car. Love the legacy of the Richard Petty Motorsports Association, as mentioned before. Right next to him is going to be Wyatt D. Thompson in the 77 car. And right behind, in the number 53 machine, Christian Zarate. And we're going to finish off our starting grid with the number 19, or apologies, position 19, number 93 car of Justin Wilkes.
That will be your starting grid. And obviously, very somber day here. September 11th. We all know what happened there, 24 years ago. So here for the Prestige Cup Series, we're going to have a moment of silence for remembrance there of what happened there on September 11th of 2001. Obviously, terrorist attack there in central New York City on the Twin Towers. So we're going to take a brief moment of silence and just remember the ones we lost there that somber day. We get ready to get going, ready to go. And remember, united we stand, divided we fall. And it's such a terrible thing that we have to kind of think about every year here that happened back there. 9/11. It's just something we cannot let happen again here. Like obviously a very somber week here in the U.S. Whether not whether you think about it or not, the way you think about it or not, we're not really going to get on to talk about that here on the broadcast. But just a really terrible week, not only just for the country in general. Obviously with the remembrance of what happened, long ago here, but obviously with some other things that's happened throughout the week here. But the best way that I think for us to celebrate everybody to celebrate, the ones we've lost, the ones that we still have here, is to put on a good race here at Atlanta, Matthew.
Series and be able to come together like this, family, friends watching, and obviously drivers ready to go here. We're putting on a good show for you guys tonight, and what better way to do it than taking it back to old Atlanta Motor Speedway with these amazing next-gen cars.
They're one of the best tracks ever do, in my opinion. Let's take a look at your race weather before we get going. Green here, 77 degrees here on the track. Obviously, track temp 89 degrees, a little bit 49%, almost half humidity there with a little bit of wind there, but nothing that's going to affect the racing here. But still should be a long race and good stuff. Remember, we do have a stage break at lap 35, so everybody's going to be racing to that lap 35 marker. Got about 45 laps of fuel, but we're going to see this pace car take that hard left turn on the pit road, and we're going to get ready to go green here for some racing here at Atlanta.
Let's go, guys. Up here, coming out of turn 4, the 55 of Gabriel Gulli coming to the line. He's going to lead lap 1, but number 1 of Wyatt Youngblood and Kendorian Davis right behind him chasing him.
You see Kendorian Davis underneath the one machine, trying to make that bottom line work, trying to hug that white line to try to get the run off the corner, but no, the one with the run off the top is going to tend that spot there for that P2 spot. It's going to allow that 55 to continue and try to race to keep that lead.
Yeah, talking about dirty air, like I mentioned earlier, the leader here is really going to have to dictate the lane, and that's really going to determine who is going to prevail in that second and third place battle, as we see the number 1 of Wyatt Youngblood being able to peek out just a bit out in front of Kendorian Davis, but Davis fights back on the inside.
Going to get the run off the top. It's going to allow the 1 to clear. Now here comes the 66. Is that case going to be side by side with the 88 of Kendorian Davis? Now Kendorian going to have to try to pursue that bottom line to try to get around now not only the 66 but also that one machine.
Kendorian Davis, winner last week at the Echo Park Speedway, the super speedway variant of this same racetrack we are on right now. But that's not what he's thinking about. He's thinking about going out here and trying to get that win. What a cool achievement it would be to win on 2 configurations of the same racetrack for Kendorian Davis as he tries to stay in the battle for position.
You saw the one not have the best corner check up the 66, allowed that 88 to now get side by side with the 1, almost a little bit of contact, but still side by side now for the P2. 3-car blanket under here for that P2 through P4.
Yeah, and so tight on corner exit there out of turn 4. You saw Kendorian Davis. It's really hard to keep that car on the white line on the bottom. You just want to drift all the way up, considering how tight these guys are. As we see, my goodness, Zach Case in the 66 to the bottom of the track into turn 3. They're going to be bouncing off of each other. Almost 3 wide. 3 wide going out of turn 4.
3 wide out of turn 4. You saw Zach go all the way underneath onto the apron to try to make that move around the 88. But the 88's going to prevail there using that outer lane. Put Kendorian Davis potentially back up P2 spot with that run off the corner.
And how we have changes in position so quickly here at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's what gives us such a cool racing aspect. We don't see this nowadays in a lot of these tracks. Worn out surface, slick, hot conditions as we saw. And a lot of battling back here further right outside the top 5 areas. We have 72 Alex Kwasinski and Wyatt Youngblood fighting side by side here going into turn 1.
Yeah, Wyatt started to actually kind of start to fall back here in this one machine. Now he's going to take 3 wide. He's going to be in the outside wall there. I think just got a little bit of nervous being top of 3, and you start to see him fall back all the way. Now losing 5 spots when he started back there up in the P4 position.
Yeah, I want to talk about Christian Zarate real quick. All the way up from further back in the pack.
Zarate in at 53, up 9 spots.
He's chipping away.
Yeah. Christian's never been someone who either has decided to qualify or when he does qualify just doesn't have the couple laps to get him a good starting position. But Christian has been, I would say, one of the guys that has the long run pace here, and you already start to see it now. On only 8 laps complete here, but already up now 9 spots here in this 8th place position.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys that were fighting for second, third, fourth position kind of starting to single file out here, get a little more comfortable with their race cars, the racetrack. And Kendorian Davis keeping the margin pretty quick, clicking close in between him and leader Gabriel Gulli. I'm curious what his intervals are looking like relative to the leader, but he's able to keep it just within 5-6 tenths of the leader here. Yeah, definitely looking like he can make his way back up here in a few laps, I think, if he can keep some clean air on that front nose, get that front downforce, front wheels pointed.
I'll take a look and see at the line to see if he closes down this gap at all. The race leader of Gabriel here. And remember, we are racing to that lap 35, stage 1. So, I mean, if I'm Kendorian, if you know, I with the win, locking yourself into the playoffs, I would honestly try to push my car a little bit here, push the tires, see how hard you can go to maybe get back to the leader, knowing that you have that caution you can bank onto on the lap 35.
Yeah, and Kendorian Davis, Gabriel Gulli, not too far apart in the point standings as they are at currently. Kendorian in the 6th position, where Gabriel is in the 8th position.
I want to go back and look at here a little bit of a battle for the P3 position. Andrew Tenold had lots of controversy last week at, you know, the Echo Park Motor Speedway. You know, it's a super speedway. He tended to be kind of the aggressor last week, but right now didn't, kind of quietly working his way up to the field here. Obviously started P6, has worked his way up here inside the top 5.
Yeah, and looking like these two guys here, 66, 51, and 72 for 3rd, 4th, and 5th position, kind of jockeying back and forth. Can't quite find out who wants to lead that little train and who wants to follow. Obviously, they're going to have to figure that out soon enough if they want to catch the leaders here. And
unfortunately, that's just the way, you know, old Atlanta is. Really, I would say the 51's going to have to be patient here. When in that bottom lane, you know, I feel like the bottom is the way you want to go, but you have to be patient. The only way you make passes there when in the bottom is by being patient and letting others use up their stuff. And the 66, on the other hand, using the top, it's faster.
Yeah, almost in the wall there.
It's fast.
Case.
Yeah, it's faster, but you know, you're gonna have the chance of getting up into the outside wall. You're definitely gonna burn off your stuff a lot quicker than that 51. Now you see the 51 make that pass there for the P3 position.
Yeah, and 85, Brandon Kigger coming in with the white Toyota, as you can see in the background, wanted to join the party. You know, that's the great thing about Atlanta here is that there's so much moving around, and once you get a guy side by side with another, both of them are going to have to lift on exit because neither one of them is going to have that optimal line. The guy on the top is going to be worried about the guy on his inside pushing up. The guy on the bottom has got to make sure that he doesn't push up and run into the guy's door. And as you can see, 85, Brandon moving up in that white Toyota Camry.
Yeah, I think the 66 is starting to back up to the field here. Remember, using that top line can be effective, but does use the tires up a lot more. And you're starting to see some guys who are a little bit more patient so that they drive their way through the field here. You see the 85 now side by side with the 66 trying to take this P5 position away, but the 66 continuing to get good runs off the corner. Going to make this pass a little bit harder for this 85.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the leaders here of Gabriel Gulli and Dorian Davis. Little bit of a closing interval in between Davis to Gulli. Was looking at around 0.6 of a second, back to around 3 tenths of a second, sorry, for second place Kendorian Davis. I think he's hungry. He wants to be able to win at this configuration of Atlanta, and he definitely has the short run speed as of right now to be able to get up there. Let's see if he has the long run speed to run him down. As you can see, he's getting a really good run off the top here. Oh, barely in the wall.
You see him barely get up in the wall there. I don't think it's going to be enough to slow down that momentum. Already down underneath 0.4 of a second there. And yeah, I mean, you're going to really see now who saved their stuff and who didn't. Wow. I mean, he's there now. I mean, We're about halfway
Oh yeah.
to that stage 1, and you're going to start to see now who used their stuff up, who saved their equipment a little bit more, and they're going to start to drive through the field here. This is a route around that soft spot where tires will start to fall, and the guys who were patient will start to come through the field. Now we're side by side for the race lead going into turn 3.
Yeah, Gabriel Goulet with a lot of momentum on the bottom here. Running a little bit of a different line in the wake of Gabriel Goulet, Kendorian Davis, that is. You got to run on this bottom here, keep the car stuck down there. You can see the flames out of the exhaust pipes. Got to modulate that throttle on exit here. Trying to clear, not quite there though.
Goalie's trying to play defense here, trying to run the top, trying to get the run off the corner to keep him clear here. Now, Kendorian just has to be patient and do what he's doing right now. And he will complete the pass sooner or later.
Let's not forget about that 51 monster car, monster Toyota Camry right there in the back. He is definitely lurking. If either of these two guys up front make a mistake, he can easily swoop by, take that first place position.
Yeah, I mean, with them battling it out, it's allowed the 51, allowed even the 72, even to get within a second of these leaders here. And with, 15 to go here, that's plenty of time even for that 72 to come up here and make a run for this stage win.
Kendorian Davis, the leader in the 88 Slurpee machine, Chevrolet. Keeping a nice steady wheel on the top line there, getting some momentum.
Kendorian got around that 55 machine. That's going to be about, can Andrew do it, right? I think Andrew has a little bit of a better car than the 55 as well. Did a good job saving his stuff. Can he get around the 55 to maybe make a run at this 88?
I'm curious. Their best lap time is about the same, only separated by 1/10 of a second, with Goulet having the better of the lap time. Is there for their best. You can see the 51 is just able to wrap the bottom just a little bit better, gets him cleaner on his front nose. He wants to peek out, wants to do it, gets to the bottom here. Let's see if he can pull it off.
Side by side going into 3. And the 51 get a good run off the corner, and we know that top lane is just going to have a little bit of a better run off, but them being side by sides once again going to allow that 72 to reel these two in.
Oh yeah, side by side, not what you want to have. As you can see, finally, 51 and 10 getting by Gabriel Goulet in the 55. Seated that position on the high line.
The goalie right now, I just think needs to hold on. Led the first 15 odd laps here, and burned his stuff up doing it, trying to get away, and now starting to fall back to the rest of the field. Just needs to try to, I think right now this defensive driving is really the only thing that's gonna continue to help, stop the bleeding. And he's doing a good job at it. I mean, you just saw the dirty right there. Made the 72 go up there and push up in the outside wall. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult for the 72 to get back up.
Yeah, and quick reminder that our stage break is in 10 laps here, lap 35 of this race, of this 125 lap race. And a lot of these guys I think are just going to be riding it out, making sure that they take care of their stuff and try to get some points here. But as we're on board with Alex Kozinski, you can definitely tell he's tight on exit, as is Gabriel Goulet right in front of him, scraping the outside wall on corner entry as we exit turn 4. You can see just how hard it is as he hits the wall again on exit, that being the 72 of Kozinski. Man, it is just so difficult to get these cars right where you want them to be, through the corner, on exit, and on entry. You see him peeking down that left side of the front of the car, trying to get as much clean air as possible.
Something I didn't expect. Did you hear that? You hear him? He's downshifting down the 4th in the corners to get that car rotated. Not something I expected to see here at Old Atlanta, where it's more of an abrasive track that you're going to want to try to save versus, downshift and use those RPMs to get the car rotated.
Yeah, these drivers have so many tools available to them in the cockpit with brake and throttle application. Obviously, as we can see, Kozinski going to the bottom, trying to make it work into turn 3. on the 55 of goalie. Will he be able to clear? I don't think so. I think they're going to be right about side by side on 8 here. As we can see, they're going to be jockeying for position. That might allow the 85 white car, Brandon here, to get up here.
Tigers ran down these front too as they've tried to figure out who needs to get around who. In the 72, I just feel like kind of in that same boat where he kind of used the stuff up, trying to get around the 55. Here comes Kiger on the outside of the 72. And them just fighting it out, I feel like also, you know, this is something that is that goalie did a good job of, right? He played enough defense to where if he forced that 72 to use the stuff up, and now it's allowed, you know, the 85 to go and be side by side and behind you know, goalie here, and it's allowed goalie to kind of at least stay right here and in this P4 position and in this P3 position. My apologies.
5 laps to our stage break here at lap 35. Laps winding down here. Kendorian Davis still in the lead, but I think you bring up a good point, Christian. A lot of these guys, you know, they're just really trying to make sure that they can get the best result for this stage. And, you know, thinking about Kaczynski here in the 72, just really difficult when you get passed by a guy and you were just about to make a pass on the 55 up there. And you can see how much he's fallen back already. But, you know, being able to keep a level head in the race car is definitely something that these guys have a knack for, because when you can see them be able to rally back, cut down that interval, and be able to make some moves on some of these guys in front of them, that just shows how much commitment they have to making sure that they're making the most out of the race car, not letting their emotions get the best. As we see a side-by-side battle here coming out of turn 2, 85 and 55. And the lap car on the bottom of the racetrack getting out of the way.
S2R10 of Nicholas Amons, not the race he probably wanted. And at 85, that's the first time you've seen anybody jump up to the top to make a pass. Honestly, I really like what I saw out of the 85 there. We saw the 55 using the top to defend. He said, well, if you're going to use the top to defend, I'm just going to go higher and pass you on the top. And that's exactly what Kiger did, putting himself up there into that podium position.
Yeah, and how about it, being able to explore all around the racetrack to find advantages for his car and for his driving style. Really makes you appreciate what these guys are able to do behind the steering wheel. And as you can see, able to pull out with a little bit of a lead out in front of the 55 goalie. And all while this is happening, obviously Kendorian Davis continuing to lead with about a 4/10 interval between him and second place, Evander Tenold. And, you know, I think Davis is really liking being out front in that clean air, but we'll see whether or not this position is going to change come to 1 to go in the stage.
Remember, the stage is complete at the completion of lap 35, so we still have 1 to go. I don't think the 51 is going to have enough time to get to the 85 to the 88.
Oh, Davis hit the wall. My goodness.
Yeah, Davis in the wall there a little bit. I don't think it's going to be enough to really affect anything. You can really, especially with these next-gen cars, you can really beat these things up here in the sim and get away with it. But coming here to the white flag here in stage 1, does the 51 have a last anything to get to the 88 to get to him? I don't think so.
Yeah, it looks like Kendorian Davis is going to come to the line here, taking first in stage 1.
Put on your top 10 to cycle through, and we will. There it is. There's your yellow flag out for tonight. And Kendorian Davis gets some precious stage points to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, he's going to like those for sure.
That playoff point's going to do a lot of good here. Obviously won last week at Atlanta and continuing to carry that momentum here into Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old version, as he wins stage 1.
Yeah. Really liking those cars on that 88 machine. See if he can maybe make it into victory lane. He can get one of those nice victory celebration edits that we make Siege Cup series of all of our winners. But what are we thinking here on pit strategy, Christian? We haven't talked about tires or gas or anything lately.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, everybody's going to come in. Obviously, we were told they can go about at most probably 45 laps here, so they're around that fuel window anyways right now. And obviously tires are pretty wore. We saw with some of these drivers like the 55, the 66, they kind of started to drop through the field here when they used their stuff up. So I imagine we're going to have everybody come down pit road here and top off on some Sunoco fuel, take those fully fresh 2 tires. Hopefully have a good stop here and come out with around the same track position.
Down pit lane. Pretty wide pit lane here, but as you can tell, one staying right on the rear bumper of the 88, Dorian Davis. See them start diving into their pit boxes here. Got to be really careful getting in. Don't want to slide the tires and have to back up. Davis able to get into his box clean. 4 tires and fuel. Standard stop here. Cars exiting pit boxes. Gio Turpin looking like he had a nice stop there. Definitely picked up some positions.
Gio Turpin up to P3. It looks like maybe. No, it looks like they're gonna get P3 to goalie. So with Turpin, didn't have a good qualifying effort. Just in one pit stop, makes his way all the way up inside the top 5.
Yeah, and real quick before we go back green, I want to give a shout out to some of our fans in the YouTube live chat here. We got Colin E-Bike, Ducky Man, and Destinox. Appreciate all the interaction, chat. Been reading all your guys' messages. Love the energy. Cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know. What do you think? Who do you think is the favorite here right now? We'd love to hear what you got on your mind. Appreciate all the shout outs as well. Thank you guys.
Also cannot forget about the Twitch chat where we didn't forget about you guys up there, Tommy and Jeff. We appreciate you guys coming in here and supporting the broadcast as well. We appreciate it, and obviously had a really good stage 1. Hopefully we can build on that and keep this good racing here for the rest of the race.
Oh yeah, and one thing to keep in mind, guys, how about Zarate coming out here with that 53 PlayStation machine, top of the racetrack? Man, I'm wondering if he took a certain amount of tires or fuel here on the stop to be able to jump up that far.
I'm taking a look right now. It looks like he had a 14.2 second stop versus Kendorian Davis. He had a 14.9. So I really just think he was just a little bit better in the box. I you know, comparatively to everybody else, he was about a second to about half a second quicker than the rest of the field. So just a really good stop out of that 53 machine.
Yeah, what a pit stop. Pit strategy going to be really important for these guys here as the iRacing car makes it onto the pit road. We're going to be going back green here. Kendorian Davis with a nice jump on the bottom. But Zarate battles back on the top side as they go into turn 1.
Davis with a good jump on that restart. See Zarate foul back there in the P2, and look at that 42 up there inside the top 3. See Gio Turpin making his way inside the top 5 for the first time, and you see Foley back there rounding out your top 4.
Yeah, how about Kendorian Davis shot out of a cannon? Definitely was in charge of that restart. Wasted no time getting up to speed here. Those 4 fresh Goodyear tires are definitely going to provide a lot of grip here, and we're going to see these lap times to start to show that.
And now we don't have a guaranteed caution, so I'm wondering to see, you know, are these drivers going to back up their pace a little bit? Are they going to go? Are they going to, you know, what are they going to do here? Remember, we were told you can go about 40 to 45 laps on fuel here, so, you know, the pit window is going to open up at around, I would say, lap 80-ish. So are you going to see, you know, guys push now and try to just hold on? You're going to see some tire saving start to go about now that we know we're not going to get a guaranteed caution for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and thinking about some of these guys up front here, Davis, Zarate, and Turpin, you know, I think these guys are definitely going to be taking advantage of their track position here. Especially Gio Turpin, he didn't have that good qualifying effort as we mentioned. Zarate making it up from way back in the field. I think these guys are definitely going to see this as an opportunity to capitalize on making it up towards the front, maybe battling for the lead here. We see Zarate peeking his nose out, corner exit.
Yeah, potential battle ensuing as here comes a 51, gonna look underneath the 55. Denold looking underneath the 55, a goalie to take over that P4 position.
Got to be careful on exit here. Those 4 tires are definitely going to help him. He's going to get a little bit of a side draft on the left rear quarter panel, the 55 goalie. Will he be able to keep that momentum and make the pass going into turn 1 here?
It's forcing that 55 to go up there and run the top, try to once again play defense, which he did so well in that last run. Gonna still stay side by side going to 3 and 4.
Yeah, and 85, white Toyota Camry we keep mentioning of Brandon Keeger right behind him. Got to make a decision with who you want to go to with the momentum on exit. He's really good coming out of turn 2, but I'm wondering whether or not he's going to be complacent staying behind one of the 2 guys in front of him on the 51 or the 55, or is he going to want to take him 3 wide?
Honestly, if I'm the 50, if I'm the 85, if I see 2 guys right up here using their stuff up, trying to bash each other, I'm going to sit back there and be like, you know what, you guys can fight it out. You guys can burn your stuff up, and you guys will slowly come back to me, and I will pass you guys when you guys used to burn your stuff up battling each other. So, I mean, if I'm this 85 right here, sitting back here on the nose, I'm fine just sitting back here letting them burn their stuff up. See him doing a really good job getting down to the bottom lane here and just letting it float up. I mean, the Dirty Air is not really affecting the 85 right now.
Good stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. He's definitely collected back there in the 6th position, and all the while, Dorian Davis continuing to lead the field here with about a 0.4 of a second gap over Christian Zarate in the 53 PlayStation machine. You know, I think Zarate's got to be seeing this as an opportunity and just thinking to himself, okay, you know, I made it up to the field in the pit stop. I got a decent restart, didn't lose any positions. Maybe I'm just going to ride it out here and, you know, learn a little bit from Dorian Davis. Look at his line, try to manage the air as he's behind Davis in his wake, and make sure that you don't make a mistake here because you got Gio Turpin right behind you. And he's hungry.
Yeah, Gio Turpin is very hungry, right? Zarate obviously has won here in the Prestige Cup Series in a, you could say, controversial fashion, but Gio Turpin has not gone the pit road, surprisingly. He's shown, every time he shows up, as, you know, top 5 speed, this is either, you know, blew it on strategy, or has gotten caught up in a wreck, or just flat out hasn't had the pace to go up there and win. So, we know this 42 is going to be hungry to go up there and try to battle for a win. But, you know, Zarate, I think, is the guy to kind of sit behind. I think Zarate has some of the best long-run pace every time we come to these style of tracks.
Yeah, it's really clear that he's just able to manage that gap. But really consistent. I think he's really comfortable not only with this race car, but riding second. As you can see, he's just really able to get that corner exit, point his car right where he wants it to go. And I think he's feeling really comfortable with the balance of his race car, running a little bit of a higher line than Davis to get some of that clean air on his front bumper, maximize some of the downforce. And I'm thinking that he's definitely going to be forced to be reckoned with coming to lap 51 here as we finish 50th lap of this 125 lap event.
Well, it's something you have to think about. There's some drivers that just know how to manage this dirty air a little bit better than others. Obviously, if you're the leader, you don't have to worry about that. But, you know, with the new update, the dirty air definitely got a lot worse as the trailing car. And some guys have learned to adapt to it and learn how to run around it and learn how to set the car up to navigate the dirty air. And some people just don't know how to do it very well. And Zarate, I feel like, is one of those guys who can navigate it, acknowledge it, and still find pace even if you are trailing a car.
Yeah, for sure. I want to take a quick opportunity to, as we see actually the 53 making huge bounds on corner entry there. Not sure if Davis made a mistake or not, but that margin was definitely a bit bigger last lap. See him work to the bottom of the racetrack entering turn 3. Just wanted to mention really quickly, Dorian Davis, winner last weekend at the Echo Park Speedway, or Atlanta configured speedway, however you want to call it, the super speedway configuration. And I think he's definitely hungry for a win in this old configuration style of track. But looking like Zerati is going to give him a run for his money, actually, as we see him come onto the back straightaway. I'm thinking Kendorian Davis has got to be sitting here wondering, hey, I've got this in the bag. I just got to stay out front, keep my car clean, and do what I know how to do, which is win at Atlanta.
And Dorian definitely showing that he has the ability to do it. But obviously we see the 53 stalking down this 88 machine. Starting to put the pressure on a little bit. Underneath 3/10 of a second. Now it's going to grow as 88 had a good launch out of the corner from running the top. But they've also started to put a little bit of a gap on the 42 of Gio Turpin. We talked about Gio was starting to put the pressure on the 53. Now these two have started to leave that 42 machine behind.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of the time, I think with these next-gen cars, it's so easy to get the impression that the interval is closing when in reality, the dirty air just ends up completely thwarting any plan that these drivers that are running second have at catching a leader. And so as we see Zerati running the bottom of the racetrack, just trying to get that interval smaller and smaller and chip away at that lead that Davis has built, you got to be wondering if he's getting frustrated in the race car or whether or not he's thinking that he needs to change his driving style. You can see closes up, but obviously the momentum at the top of the racetrack is way too much to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if Zerati stays, knows that what he's doing is the best thing to do, or if he gets frustrated, changes up his line. I think that's what Kendorian Davis wants him to do, is change up his line, shake him up, rattle his cage a little bit to kind of get the pressure off. Right now, I think what Christian's doing is exactly what he needs to do right now. Kind of continue to put the pressure on, right? I mean, he's just right in that distance where Kendorian Davis cannot feel comfortable in any really shape or form. Just kind of riding around, it's kind of forcing him to, in a sense, Zerati is the one who's really dictating the pace of this race right now, not Kendorian.
Yeah, and we can tell Zerati with the same pattern, lap after lap, just running that bottom line, wrapping the white line, just easing his way to the outside wall as we go on the back straightaway. Obviously, Kendorian Davis running that high line. He likes where his car is. He likes being closer to that wall, being able to run that top line. And you got to just appreciate these drivers' ability to have completely different driving approaches to corner entry and corner exit. And I think I totally agree with you, Christian, because Christian Zerati is definitely dictating the pace of this battle at the front of the field.
It's interesting to see because I feel like if Kendorian really felt comfortable, he'd probably go down there and run that bottom, but he's just like we saw that 55 do when he was trying to hold on in that first stage. The 88 has moved his lineup to the top to, get the better exit off to make it harder for that 53 to get side by side on the exit of the corners. And you've seen the 88 move his lineup slowly higher and higher, trying to find grip here. And Zerati's been content, just running the bottom, trying to save tires.
Yeah, this racetrack just so abrasive, and a little bit of track history, but this racetrack originally opened as a 1.5 mile oval, obviously being reconfigured with some massive changes in 1997. They relocated the start-finish line to what is now the backstretch to the current front stretch, and they completely reconfigured to actually make this old Atlanta as we like to think of it as before the super speedway, obviously. And quick little track fact, but the first winner at the Atlanta Motor Speedway was Bobby Johns, October 30th, 1960. So we've been racing here in NASCAR in Atlanta, just outside of downtown Atlanta, for quite some time, and to see these guys battling it out on iRacing, such an amazing platform for simulator racing, really nice.
It's definitely awesome to see. iRacing can kind of encapsulate some things. There's a lot of tracks that we don't have anymore that we can come to on the sim. You look at, stuff like, old, like this version of Atlanta. You look at stuff like Myrtle Beach, and some of the local short tracks that we just don't have anymore. You look at Irwindale Auto Club that just got shut down uh, earlier in this 2020 kind of decade mark, right? And it's super cool to see that you can come on the sim, run the track, and still encapsulate it and continue to build memories, even though we don't have these tracks anymore.
Just amazing stuff that the guys at iRacing are able to develop for people like us to enjoy and broadcast fans. And as we see a battle here in the back for third, fourth, and fifth position between Gio Turpin, Wyatt D. Thompson, and Gabriel Angoli. And, one thing I wanted to mention is Wyatt Youngblood falling all the way back. I'm not really sure what happened to him, but he definitely had some problems, and not sure if he's dealing with a ill-handling race car or some damage maybe, but he was further up in the pack earlier on, and unfortunate circumstances nonetheless that he's running that far back right now, but hopefully he can find some speed and keep it together here.
The wheels have kind of fallen off the bus here on this one machine right now. Currently back here in 16th, but I think right now he needs a caution to put himself in another chance to fight to get, I think, the finish he probably wants here in this one machine. But obviously we still have, we're about halfway done here in this race. Still got a long ways to go. Can't give up now.
Oh yeah, and obviously Kendorian Davis stretching the lead out to just under a second. Christian Zarate not able to make that bottom line work that we were mentioning earlier. Gonna have to find something else in his car in the long run speed. And I think he's obviously just trying to see if he can learn a thing or two from Davis's line. But I'm also wondering if he's just content with, like you mentioned, Christian, just kind of riding it out, making sure that he's taking care of his stuff and not trying to do too much because of how much longer we have in the race. You got to wonder whether or not these drivers are thinking, how much more time do I realistically have left before my stuff's used up? You got to start thinking about pit strategy again. But obviously, our runs on fuel are going to be looking like around 45 laps. And so, stuff to start thinking about, for the remainder of the race.
Yeah, taking a look at, right now I'm bored with this 53 machine. No, I don't feel like he's doing anything wrong besides, I feel like maybe Kendorian's just pushing that car a little bit harder because you don't see him, I mean, you don't hear any tires screeching, you don't see anything, you just see him just kind of float down to the bottom and kind of baby it around as much as he can. You're going to see actually Kendorian Davis getting involved a little bit there. You actually heard Roddy get out of the gas suit a little bit, so everybody's having their fair share of handling issues as this run goes on.
Yeah, and one thing I'm really impressed by is just Kendorian Davis's lap sled right now. I'm curious where all the other drivers fall with their current lap sled, but I know Kendorian Davis has definitely been dominating as of right now. There you go. As you can see on the screen, 50 of 70 laps led. Just dominating from the green flag once he was able to get by to 55. And, I'm thinking that a lot of these guys are just going to be really, really impressed with Davis's ability to not only get the lead, but maintain the lead. 20 laps split up between a few of the other drivers at this point. But, yeah, Davis just setting the pace, setting the tone. And that slurping machine, man, I'm really enjoying that as we see the lap car coming out of pit lane of Oliver Kinney. What a great practice qualifying effort from him, but just not able to get it done here. And that's just the thing about this track and these race cars is that you can have great speed in practice, for example, but as soon as you get on the racetrack in the heat of the race, if you're not able to have luck go your way, you just gotta make sure you set small goals, finish your race, keep it clean if that's what your objective is. But definitely not what Oliver Kinney wanted to see from his outing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And that's the thing, though, too, is practice. I mean, it could be anything, right? I mean, when you look at the fastest time in practice, I mean, that could be from, a draft lap. That could be from wall riding. That could be anything, right? So, I mean, practice times can definitely be deceiving of what, a driver truly has underneath the tank there. But obviously, right now, I'm not sure, Oliver definitely showing some good pace throughout the season here, and obviously, he actually did just come down pay road here, so maybe that was a hit strategy. You see some more people coming out now. Looks like the 93 of Justin Wilkes coming out of pit road as well, so maybe that green flag pit stop starting to come underway.
Yeah, not only green flag pit stops, but obviously we got to think about our lead lap guys, right? And so as we stand, got 13 cars on the lead lap. Running through the order, we've got Dorian Davis, Christian Zarate in the second place position, Andrew Tenold, Wyatt D. Thompson, Gio Turpin, Alex Kwasinski, Gabriel Nguli, Joseph Enright, Benjamin Bushnell, Jonathan Dolly, and Brandon Kiger, as well as Zach Case and Brian White, rounding out those lead lap drivers. Shout out to everyone, obviously, tuning in on the live stream, Twitch and YouTube. Let us know, what do you guys think of the racing? You like some green flag runs here? A little bit of an old-fashioned style race as we see the 53 of Zarate getting into the wall, and he's actually getting passed up here for position.
Wyatt Thompson in the 77, bending it around this 53. You saw the 51 of Andrew Tenold getting around to 53. So once again, we thought maybe the 53 was saving this up. Maybe we were the contrary, and 53 was starting to fall back just because he, used his stuff up a little bit too much. But we are getting around. We're getting close to, being in a good, safe spot for green flag pit stop. So this 53 just needs to hold on for, I would say, another 5 to 10 more laps, and he can come down, take some fresh tires, top off on some Sunoco fuel, and kind of have a good reset point.
Yeah, and you can see that 77 just trying so aggressively to clear him on corner exit, not able to do it. Obviously, coming out of turn 4, able to get in front of that 53 car, Zarate. Something that I always thought of is, when you're on that bottom lane as a driver and you're just trying to clear that car on the outside, and you're hearing your spotter in your ear, you're looking in your mirror, you're trying to time it with your run off the corner. And Christian, you've done a lot of sim racing in your experience. What do you do as a driver sitting there not able to clear? What goes through your mind? Are you thinking for the future next few laps or so, or are you just in the heat of the moment thinking, damn, I just really can't make it work?
Well, I think it really just depends on, if you know the driver, especially these people who have raced with each other for the first 10 races of the season. Everybody should know how they race, and here comes actual Andrew Tenold to take the lead away from Dorian Davis. Wow, that's once again, Davis, the long run speed has gone away from him, but we'll go back to that talking point. I feel like it just depends on, who you're racing, right? There's a lot of people that if they're faster, you just let them go, and that same respect will come back. But when it comes to if you really need to race side by side and fight for a position, you really just have to see where their strengths and weaknesses are. A lot of people, if you're side by side, will be aggressive and try to push their car a little bit harder, and you take advantage of that, right? If you see that they're going to be the kind of driver to drive it down into the corner and potentially get tight and have to lift, then you back up the corner and get a better exit, and vice versa, right? If someone's gonna, if there's another driver who will really try to back up their exit, their entry to get a good exit, then you kind of have to put a little bit of a slide job on them to try to make sure that you can Clear them is, oh, Kendorian Davis is going to miss pit
Oh,
road.
the 88 spinning.
Will that
Trying
be
to
a
get on the pit road, the 88 Slurpee machine of Kendorian Davis.
caution will wave?
Yellow flag is out. Caution on the speedway. My goodness, how the tables have turned.
In the middle of
Leader
green
to
flag pit
spinner,
stops,
the
yeah.
88 of Kendorian Davis.
Oh, wow. That was a
Oh, man.
close call there. We'll take a look. Actually, HVTV replay there. We saw it live right there. Saw the 88 just trying to come down pit road there and just misjudged the entry. Back it up there for you guys.
Wow, you could see.
I think he was just trying to
the
follow
race
that.
car just stepped out.
I think he was just trying to follow that 51 in. And obviously, you know, it's required that you have to call it out. I think that's the 77 actually. Trying to follow him in and just tried to be too aggressive. You know, you see even the 77, I mean, he's having issues. And this 88, I mean, hasn't even tried to stop this thing yet. And I think he knew that he wasn't going to make it. And maybe just tried to get back onto the racing surface. And unfortunately, you can't just kind of stop and then expect the car to go again. And you'll see that car spin out here right in front of the, right in the restart zone.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, thinking about where he was sitting on the racetrack, I think that was a pretty obvious need for a caution. You know, so many times we see in the Cup Series on the Sunday broadcast, we always question the actual thought process behind throwing a caution, but you can see all the rest of the field coming onto pit road. 51 of Andrew Tenold and Christian Zarate.
I really shaked up
some fresh tires and fuel.
I really shaked up a lot because obviously that happened in the middle of green flag pit stop. Some guys already came down pit road and, you know, got trapped a lap down there. So we're going to have a couple of guys that are not really actually. Looks like a lot of guys are going to be able to stay here on the lead lap. So in that case, right, depending on when you came in and pitted during the green flag run, that's going to give them some free track position.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Joseph Enright real quick with a pretty good stop there. Able to jump up a position or two, I think.
Joseph in the 7 machine, we haven't talked about him all day, but you obviously see him running special paint for the night. Obviously, we had a little bit of a memorial for this exact event earlier in the broadcast, but really special paint for the 7 machine tonight, and obviously we got to cheer for one of these types of paints always to get in the victory lane.
Yeah, I'd love to see this guy lead some laps here at this event. Obviously, the HendrickCars.com 192 coming to lap 85 under caution of 125 next time around. And obviously our leader, Wyatt D. Thompson, he was able to get onto pit road just fine, but our previous race winner in Kendorian Davis obviously spun there and kind of, like you mentioned, Christian, shaked a lot of stuff up. I'm really interested to see who gets this jump on the restart, able to capitalize on the field being bunched back up. I'm thinking of a Christian Zarate out there on the outside lane. Had a lot of promise last restart. Let's see if he's able to get it done here.
Yeah, Wyatt Thompson really had, I think, was the beneficiary of this caution. Remember, he was the one who the 88 was trying to follow down pit road, so he was able to come down and get a free pit stop and stay out here. So obviously he has 2 lap, technically older tires in the rest of the field, but obviously that caution came out while he was down pit road, so he got a free pit stop out of this, and he's gonna take the race lead, get some bonus points for leading at least this going the green lap here. So really good beneficiary caution for the 77, but we're going to see the pace car look a hard left in the 77. That 51's going to lead us back to green.
Too wide down the front straightaway into turn 1. They go. Gonna see a nice little run on the bottom of the racetrack by the 77. Wyatt D. Thompson able to clear for now. The 51, Andrew Tenold, just on that outside corner panel. Zarate going to give a little bit of an arrow push down the back straightaway.
Side by side going in the 3 and 4. I mean, the 51, the 77, the 51 with a great run off the corner. He's going to clear the 77. Now here comes Zerati to try to make a move for this P2 position.
Great battling up front here at Old Atlanta Motor Speedway. Doesn't get much better than this with these next-gen cars. Never seen this in real life, obviously. And it's just got to be an amazing sight to see.
Zerati side by side now going to the 3 and 4. He's going to drive it down there into the corner, clear the 77. Take over that P2 position, but we got some battling back here towards the back. See the 72 getting around the 41. Oliver, that's the 84. My apologies, of Brian White. I think that's Oliver Quinney, who was a lap car who was racing that 72. So not even for position there, but I see Quinney back there. I think he is the only car. No, yes, the only car one lap down. So there's a caution. Now 41's gonna be back into the picture here.
Obviously, race leader Andrew Tenold sitting 5th in the point standings, and can get a little bit of a battle here from Zerati. He's running the top line and see if he can carry that momentum onto the back straightaway. Gonna have to concede it here, run in line, and obviously if you're Zerati, you got to be thinking, hey, I've been here before. Oh, you got a wreck in the back.
Wreck in the back. Cautional wave. Like maybe that 55 maybe had a piece of it. Take a look and see on your HVTV replay what happened here between this 55 machine.
A lot going on in these restarts. We'll have to take a close look at what exactly went down. Obviously, we're on board, looking to the rear down the back straightaway from leader Andrew Tenold. But looking like there was something around the 10th position or further back, as a lot of these drivers kind of take advantage of every position they can get.
Oh, looks like the 85. Wow, huge hit.
Oh, man. Wow.
See if we can find Brandon Kagure here. See what happened. Look at our chopper cam. Always our best camera for...
Oh, Gio Turpin. Gio Turpin looking like he got to his left rear quarter panel. Got him a little bit out of shape here.
Yeah, a little bit of contact between the 42 and... Frankly, didn't lift. Didn't lift for him. They didn't really do him any favors there, and fortunately the 72 nowhere to go. Alex Krasinski.
Tiger was such a fast race car, man.
Yeah, unfortunate for both the two, you know. All three of those guys were having a pretty decent race there, but that'll definitely be a caution day in and day out. So we'll bring this pace car out one more time here while we're on lap 91 here of 125.
Andrew Tenold in that 51 Monster Energy machine. Looking back at some of these sponsors, love that PlayStation car of Zerati. You know, a lot of the times people forget, but these guys are putting a lot of hours and time into these paint schemes. You really got to appreciate what some of these guys do in their creative liberty and artistic ability to just demonstrate their personalities, actual sponsorships, and knowledge of this motorsport as a whole. Love that 7 paint scheme, 911 scheme. Nike from Bushnell, 25 car. Bass Pro. One Realty Group. Gio Turpin's going on the pit road, maybe after some damage. Obviously that Dollar Tree 42, Richard Petty 42 car. Snap-on 55 from Gabriel Gully. A few more back here. Another 911 tribute. Gotta love those.
I mean, it's a special day. Not in the way we wanted it to, but it's always special to see those, you know, specialty schemes for these types of races.
Real quick shout out for everyone in the live chats right now. Thank you for tuning in. Looking like we have about 12 watching here on YouTube, let us know what your thoughts are. Who do you think is going to get the jump on this restart? Who do you think is going to pull out on the lead? Coming to 93 to go once we take the green here, under caution, currently pacing after a wreck on the back straightaway involving the 85 and the 72. I'm thinking Zarate is going to have a really good opportunity here to take the lead. He's been second multiple times on restart, up there on pace. He's really hungry for not only a win, but definitely to get the lead, get some clean air, show everyone what he's made of. We'll have to find out.
Have to find out here. The 51 on the bottom, the 53 on top as we get ready to go green here once again from Atlanta. A little bit of a tire spin out of the 53. Gonna allow that 51 to get a good jump.
Not quite able to get that power down as they go into turn one. The 77 on the bottom of the racetrack pushing up. Got to keep that on the bottom there. And that was a close one. But the 53 Zarate battles back on the top. Barely touching the wall. Multiple people into the wall, actually. They keep it together going into turn three.
Zarate being forced to run this top lane here, but he's going to get a good run off the corner here. Going to get a run at this 51. Will he take it? No, not quite.
Can't quite get that nose to the quarter panel.
There he goes underneath the 51 side by side. The 53 trying to get there. The 51 into the wall. That's going to slow him enough to stay side by side. So here comes Zarate on the bottom.
Yeah, what a great attempt to get down there into the corner. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Zarate here. Maybe going to be able to clear, not quite. They're going to be side by side down the front straightaway. Doesn't get much better than this at Old Atlanta.
Side by side at the line. Give it to 10 old, but once again, here comes a 53. Going to drive it down here into the bottom. 51's going to try to pinch him down there. Side by side out of 1 and 2. Still side by side down the backstretch.
And how about it from the 51 and 53 here? Able to keep it clean, keep it off of one another. This is great stuff for us as viewers and commentators. Gotta love what you're seeing out of these two guys up front.
51 will finally clear this 53 machine. Start to maybe pull away. As 10 old holds on here once again to hold your race lead.
A lot of give and take from both of these drivers. Love to see it. As you see, more jockeying for position behind them. Third and fourth place, Wyatt D. Thompson and Joseph Enright. They're hungry.
Look at Jonathan Dolly. We haven't talked about him all race. He's worked his way up inside the top 5. Gonna try to put some pressure on the 7 of Enright. But he also has the 85 of Kiger. Kiger just got caught up in that wreck, and he's all the way back up here inside the top 10.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind, Jonathan Dolly keeping lap time, best lap time, matching that of the leader. Actually better than the current leader of Andrew Tenold. 23.912 to a 23.921, with Dolly having the faster lap of his best. Side by side out of turn 4. Gonna try to stay side by side with the 7 car, Joseph Enright.
Alright, it's gonna have to be forced to use that top lane as you're gonna let the 74 down low. Side by side out of turn 1 and 2. A little bit of contact.
Oh, tight on exit sideways. Let's keep it together, boys. Oh.
Caution will wave. Once again, we saw that one live once again here at Atlanta. Unfortunately, that 7 car is going to go around. A big hit
And he's,
from the
oh
84. Ryan White gets a shot after the factor.
Chaos coming to 100 laps to complete. Oh my goodness.
So take a look here. We saw it here. The 74 is getting a little bit tight, getting back into there. And we're going to take a look at this 84 machine of Brian White. Gets caught up in here. And is on the brakes here. On the brakes, on the brakes. Slides it down the track, and here comes the 66.
Oh! Zach Case. Man. Got a feel for him there. Absolutely nothing wrong. Trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack. 84 just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Man.
Yeah, I mean, you have to feel for both of them. You could tell what Brian was trying to do. He was trying to get it off the track. And Zach was just trying to, stay off the track, right? Because that's where the wreck was. Unfortunately, they just kind of both met in the middle, and both with a lot of damage to their machines now.
Unreal, man. Getting some meatballs handed out here. A lot of mechanical damage, obviously, as we see the 2 leaders coming onto pit road, going to make their 4-tire stop fuel.
Yeah, that should
51.
It should be their last stop of the race. Remember, they said we can go about, what, 45 laps on fuel here? We go in the green with under 25 to go. So this should be the...
Yeah, and this is going to be such an important stop here as the 51 gets away beautifully. And how about that from the 74, Jonathan Daly coming out second after being involved in the wreck.
What a stop by the 74. Gizzarati back there. And the 53, he's going to come out third out of this. Dorian Davis going to be out there fourth in there. But we do have some strategy calls here. Gio Turpin in the 42. Justin Wilkes in the 93. Decided to stay out here. See the 93 and that 911 homage. Once again, really cool to see that out here. But Gio Turpin as well. He's going to be a race leader staying out here after this caution here on lap 97.
What a great outing for Gio Turpin. Obviously, like we mentioned earlier, not the outing he wanted. Qualifying, was involved in some incidents earlier with the 85 coming out of turn 3, getting him sideways. Obviously, a huge chance at redemption here, as well as Justin Wilkes. Haven't talked about him a lot tonight. In position to capitalize on an opportunity for maybe a win, running up front. And obviously, a lot of our favorites here with Andrew Tenold and Christian Zarate, as well as last week's winner, Dorian Davis, and Jonathan Daly, who just capitalized on his pit stop. This is going to be a great 23 lap run here to the finish, and I think we're all in for a treat here.
Exactly. I mean, 23 laps to go. We're still going to have a little bit of tire wear, but it's going to be a mix of, like, we might see a little bit of saving at the start of this run, but I would say after we get down, sub 20, it's going to be go time. Whoever has the tires, whoever can get up to the front, it's going to be a duel for this win.
Staying under pace speed, rows of 2, inside lane, Gio Turpin, $42 tree, Toyota Camry. Outside lane, Justin Wilkes in the number 93 911 homage paint scheme. What a special victory it would be if he was able to get to victory lane here today at Old Atlanta Motor Speedway. Take him away, Christian.
The pace car going to take the hard left turn back into the Gacko restarts there. Gio Turpin for the first time going to lease the green, and the 74 is going to spin the tires.
On the front straightaway. Unbelievable.
Jonathan Daly.
Oh no!
Just got all that track position. Spins the tires, trying to get the power down. Oh man.
After a legendary pit stop to get up to second off of pit road, man, got a feel for him there. Jonathan Daly.
You'll see the 74 right here on the restart. We'll take a look at this here, and you'll just see him get down in the power, run the tires.
Oh man. Oh no, Wyatt D. Thompson getting a piece of that too.
Yeah, Wyatt,
outside wall that is.
Wyatt Thompson with some damage as well. Yeah. Not a whole lot for the 77. Could have been a lot worse, but definitely is not what he wanted to see there with 23 to go. I mean, we know the 77's got some speed underneath him, but yeah, definitely didn't want to be caught up in something like that.
Talking about Gio Turpin and Justin Wilkes, they definitely are going to like this caution because that's going to be less laps on their tires. Obviously, Andrew Tenold able to make up a position there into the second place. He's going to be the highest up on fresh tires, as well as Zarate. As it looks like, actually, the 93 Justin Wilkes is going to be falling back a few positions. And pit road, actually, yeah.
Yeah, plethora of cars actually jumping down pit side here to either probably... It looks like for Wilkes at least, going to take some tires here, but for some other drivers, going to maybe get some damage fixed. The end right there in the 7. You still see some right front damage to that 7 machine. So you see some drivers coming down pit road, but Gio Turpin right now, 12 lap tires on this 42 machine. So I would say about what, 8 laps green tires, I would say. Uh,
Yeah.
so I mean, really not the worst strategy call. Only I would say when it comes to green flag laps, only has about 4 extra laps on these things, and with coming, we're gonna be going to green with probably what 20 to go here. I mean, it's not a lot to give up here, so I really don't mind the strategy out of this 42.
Yeah, I don't either at all. And you know, considering Gio's race up to this point, I think you got to go for it because Gio, winless on the season, obviously top five speed as you mentioned earlier, Christian, throughout some of the other races, but gotta be thinking that he's going for the win here. And if I'm him, yeah, I'm saying to hell with it with the points because I want that victory and to win at Old Atlanta in that famous 42 paint scheme, obviously repping the 42 font from Richard Petty Motorsports, now the Legacy Motor Club, obviously. But it's not going to be easy with Andrew Tenold on fresh tires as well as Christian Girardi right behind him. Got to be thinking who's going to get around who first and how quickly.
Exactly, it's gonna be the who's who can take advantage of these fresh tires and who can, you know, navigate maybe around this potentially slower 42, right? Obviously, 4 laps is 4 laps, but it's Old Atlanta, right? I mean, 4 laps is a lot longer at a track like this than it would be maybe at like a Chicagoland or a Kansas where there's not as much tire wear. So it's going to be interesting to see if this 42 can hold on here.
Big time. We're going to see the iRacing pace car peel off to the left here onto pit road. 42 inside, 51 outside. Make your pick. 2 Toyotas at the front of the field. Who's going to come to the line first on this first lap after the restart?
Good jump by the 51 of Tenold. Now going to be side by side in a 1 and 2 for this race lead. Side by side for 3rd and 4th. It's 42 going to try to hold off the 51, but a good run from the 51. Going to be side by side down the backstretch. A little bit of contact between the two.
Bouncing and banging off of each other, the 42 and 51. 3rd place, 85, Brandon Kiger, after getting involved in the wreck with Gio Turpin, making his way to the front. But Zarate going to be back. He's wrecking him in the tri-oval. Wrecking on the front straightaway.
Kiger off the bumper of Zarate. Going to spin in and save it 180. What a save. But we saw some other people get caught up in it, maybe a little bit of a post-requisite, trying to just get around this wreck here. But caution will wave. And we'll see what happened between Kiger and Zarate here.
Yeah, you saw that one brewing coming out of turn 4 for sure. Zarate was really tight on him. Obviously on the fresher tires. Kiger with some damage, but man, just unbelievable stuff from everyone here.
You saw side by side with those first 2 rows. You see a little bit of contact between your two race leaders, and Kiger elects to drive it into the corner here. Girardi with a little bit of a better exit, and just a little, I mean, just looks like 2 cars meeting in the middle, and look at this save here to keep it going. And
wow,
little to no damage for that machine.
Great stuff, man. Just great stuff.
Oliver Quinney go down at the grass to try to avoid, but good job not only by Quinney to save that machine, but everybody else to get around them without making it worse than it already was.
Yeah, really glad we didn't have to see a race car get pounded from behind and, have someone's day ruined. Really good save right there from the 85. Obviously not the outcome of that restart that he wanted, but as you can see in the front of the field, Andrew Tenold going to be leading for this next restart with Gio Turpin in 2nd right behind him, Christian Girardi 3rd. Dorian Davis, winner last week at Atlanta Echo Park Super Speedway, looking for another win. Gabriel Ngoli, 5th place, Wyatt D. Thompson 6th, Benjamin Bushnell 7th. A lot of these drivers are really going to be looking for an opportunity to capitalize on a win here.
Everybody's going to be hungry, especially in the season finale. Everybody wants to not only win at Old Atlanta, but they also want to win the regular season finale to, cap off and to take us into the playoffs, right? I mean, you talked about wanting to get momentum at the perfect time. This is the place to do it. And so everybody wants to come out here and try to win, you know, going into this regular season finale to, you know, start off a really good postseason here to potentially go and race for a championship.
Definitely. And you got to be thinking, you know, this is not going to be an easy restart. And by no means do I think the beating and banging is going to be over. This is going to be some really tight racing up front and throughout the pack. But going to be coming to, looks like 16 to go here before we go green. Going to be having 15 green flag laps left.
I mean, where the laps are ticking down here with these cautions, and obviously, I think that's what Gio Turpin wants to see, but it's not what I think some of these guys on these fresher tires wants to see. I think if you're Tenold or if you're Cerati, you want it to go green here to potentially go out and maybe battle it between yourselves, right? Versus Turpin, who wants these cautions to keep himself in the fight.
Yep.
But we'll just have to see. You see the lights on the page.
And another thing to keep in mind is the entirety of turn 1 and turn 2 is actually completely dark, and the rest of the racetrack is actually going to be pretty dark here as we come around. Lights on the pace car off, coming towards the restart zone. But yeah, definitely something to consider. Maybe a little less slipping and sliding around here. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, as the sun starts to set here, the track is going to get cooler. The grip's going to go up here with 15 to go. Obviously, we do have three green white checker attempts if we do get there, but I think we want to see a good hard last 15 laps here to see who we can crown here as our last winner here in the regular season. But you see the pace car take that hard left on the pit road, and now two Toyotas, the 42 and the 51, are both going to wreck.
Oh, sideways, they're wrecking! Wrecking in the front of the field, both of the leaders, unbelievable. The leader in Andrew Tenold in the 51 Monster Energy machine. The 72 of Alan Kwadzinski getting tagged there, trying to get around everyone. Oh my goodness.
And that's going to be an interesting wreck to look at here. As we'll go back and see if we can diagnose what kind of happened between the two leaders.
Stacked up on both lanes with big pushes from the 88 of obviously Kendorian Davis and the 53 of the 53 of Christian Zarate. Man, that was a huge shove.
I think it was a combination of
wow.
a shot from Zarate and a little bit of a door from the 42 that just really upset the 51. I think Zarate was trying to jump the start a little bit. I don't know how the admins are going to look at that. And then obviously the 42 kind of, I wouldn't say doored him, but just tried to maybe pinch him down a little bit. And I just think it really got that 51 out of sorts there, and unfortunately nowhere to go for a lot of these drivers. Obviously the 42, nowhere to go. I mean, he tried to turn left to get away from it, but you see the 85 involved. You see the 51. You see, I think the 1 is going to hook the 41. Yeah, you see the 74.
Oh,
half the field.
That's a huge wreck there.
Involved in this wreck.
Wow.
72 going to get turned here towards the end.
Yeah, and the 53, the inside car, that huge shove, obviously spinning out as well, so he will not have any benefit from trying to jump that restart. Yeah. Quite the opposite, as we see Kendorian Davis back at the front of the pack. He's been on a roller coaster of a ride here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's led a good majority of the laps here, 61 of the 130. 113 complete. Obviously, he started to fall off towards the latter half here, but I mean, it's about putting yourself in the position to race for a win here, right? And he got lucky enough to drive through the wreck, didn't get any damage from it. And now he's gonna lead us to green here, coming to close to 10 to go here.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Kendorian Davis trying to get onto pit road, spinning out onto the front straightaway, bringing out that caution. Obviously, just some crazy circumstances for the 88 Slurpee machine, Kendorian Davis. And obviously, we got the 77 of Wyatt D. Thompson, who was actually making his way onto pit road right before the 88 spun. And so, got a lot of storylines here and a lot of really interesting perspectives as we get ready for this next restart. The 55 of Gavriangoli, obviously very strong at the beginning of the race, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles this next restart, and maybe he can find some of that speed he had earlier on in the race.
And it looks like they did give Cerati the EOL there, so either he claimed the caution or uh, our race control and JJ Moore deemed him at fault there. So Cerati, regardless of what he spun, if he spun out or not, would have been given that EOL penalty. So unfortunate for Cerati, but I mean you still got what 11 to go here to make your way back up to the field here. But the 88 now, you know, two new leaders gonna lead us to green here.
Yeah, and no fast repair for those guys that had damage, by the way, to all you viewers. So this is going to be a really nitty-gritty fight to finish here. Kendorian Davis trying to make it 2 in a row, back-to-back weeks, both at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 2 different configurations as they enter the Geico restart zone.
Good jump by the 88.
Up through the gears.
A decent jump by the 77. Wyatt Thompson's going to clear for P2. Wunderman Bushnell up into the top 3 for the first time. You see the race leader with a little bit of a blink, but nothing too bad here. But side by side is the 41 in the back.
Spinning on the back.
Andrew Tenold once again involved in another wreck. And caution will wave once again here.
Man. Just hate it for those guys that had such good runs. The 51 obviously leading at one point, fighting for the win. Now has his front nose caved in.
You could tell.
Obviously, we're gonna have to take a look at the replay to find out.
You could just see the you could just see the frustration in that 51 just by the driving. But we'll see. I think Oliver Quinney was the first one we saw kind of get spun around here. We'll see if we can find what happened between that 41 machine on this restart. Oh wow.
Oh, just sideways on his own from the bottom of the racetrack. Wow.
It looks like he's got a little bit of left rear damage. I think that definitely might have helped contribute to the ill handling car, and unfortunately nowhere to go for the 51. I mean, that's wow, and a huge hit for the 41, backing into the inside wall. But we'll go back to the 51 of Andrew Tenold. Fortunately, just wrong place, wrong time. Tried to check up, tried to give that 41 space. Unfortunately, just a big accordion, a big stack up, and got hooked by the 74 up into the 85 of Brandon Kiger, and frankly, just bad place, wrong time for that 51 machine.
Yeah, and you got a feel for a lot of these guys, you know, talking about 85 of Brandon Kiger, just caught up in a lot of incidents today with such a fast race car early on. My heart goes out to everyone, obviously, involved in these crashes. Looking forward to seeing if we can finish under some cleaner circumstances with probably around 7 to go, 7 green flag laps, that is. You know, I'm thinking Wyatt D. Thompson and Dorian Davis are just itching to go, you know, battle it out side by side, get through a few clean laps, be able to put on a show for us. These guys are tired at this point. This is a very physically and mentally demanding track, and a lot of these guys are reaching their wits' end for sure, but see who can keep calmness coming to the finish of this race.
You know, they say cautions beat cautions, and that's exactly what we've seen here at the end of the race here. People have been aggressive to try to make up spots to give themselves a chance, you know, to come up here and race for a win here in the regular season finale. Obviously, the drivers that are still left, I feel like a lot of these guys are already locked into the championship, the playoffs here. So I think right now, just, you know, racing for pride, racing for a win, right? Everybody's trophy hunting here at the end, this regular season, and you know, cautions breed caution, and people are gonna get aggressive towards the end here to try to make some moves here. And you know, when you're aggressive like that, that's what tends to happen. Is you'll get some of these cautions that come out, and I mean that's just the way we're gonna have to call it here.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to Wyatt Youngblood. He was buried back in the pack a few laps down earlier in the race. What a run to be able to make it back up through the field, keeping his car clean, and really looking forward to seeing what he can make out of this opportunity up in the front here in the number one MLB prospect coverage car. Low of seventh place. What a great run for him. Love to see it out of Wyatt Youngblood.
We know Wyatt has a decent speed. Hopefully, he fixed the issues with that car. Then back there, he's going to be restarting back there. Third on the bottom in that fifth place. So that's a good shot to go up here, or maybe race for a podium. If something happens to these front two, maybe for a win here. But you'll see the 88, and now the 77 once again leads back to green.
What a great jump from the 88, Kendorian Davis. Fired out of a cannon there. A little bit of pushing and shoving in the back between Wyatt Youngblood and Benjamin Bushnell. 25 in one car, that is.
You'll
The
see
77, he's lurking there.
Wyatt Thompson lurking there with 7 to go. Might have something for your race leader here, but Bushnell back there in third, trying to put some pressure onto that P2 position. But now, side by side for the race lead for now. Not quite. 77 going to tuck back in line.
The 88 with a great run on the corner there. 77 is going to bury it down here, try to get side by side, just itching to get to that quarter panel. He's going to get close. The 88's in the wall.
88's going to end the wall, going to slow that momentum. Now the 77's going to have to try something different here. You saw the bottom didn't work. The 88 got the better run off the corner. Going to have to try something different here, coming with 5 to go here at Atlanta. 77 going to...
5 to go at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
77 going to... I thought was going to like to run that middle line. Decided to not. To go down and run the bottom again.
Run.
With the 88 continuing to run that top lane. Going to try to use that momentum off the corner to keep this race lead.
77 just perfect on exit. Able to slide his way up. Not let that wake of the 88 disrupt his race car. It's going to be really close here. And I think the 88 of Kendorian Davis is just struggling on exit. But we'll have to see if he can keep it in shape.
77 at least staying within the tire tracks of this 88 machine. Has not been able to really get side by side. He's going to drive it in here in the 3 and 4. See if something... He can make something of it. Nothing's going to happen here. He's going to have a horrible exit. Allow the 88 to pull a little bit of a gap on him now.
3 to go at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This historic racetrack opening in 1960. Years and years of beloved races being hosted here. And what a way to enjoy a nice night of racing in a racetrack that doesn't exist physically, but exists in our hearts and in iRacing's development and simulator. And what a great performance these guys have put on for us today, with Kendorian Davis leading in the Slurpee 88 car.
Good to go for the 88 machine. 77 starting to draw it back now to the 88. I think right now Kendorian just needs to make these last 6 corners, and he's going to have his second win here in the Prestige Cup Series. But right now, we're going to put it up in the air. White flag in the air. One to go here for the 88 of Kendorian Davis.
It's get it done time for the 88 of Kendorian Davis, coming off of a win at Echo Park Super Speedway. What a great way to put a cap on both Atlanta races this season in the Prestige Cup Series, going into turn 3.
Win number 2 for the 88 at 2 separate versions of Atlanta, but the 88's going to go back-to-back here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Go ahead and give it to him. 88, Kendorian Davis. What a performance. From leading early on in the race to being spun out, trying to get onto pit road, being back in the pack, making his way through a lot of wrecks and restarts. Just an amazing performance. Led over half the laps here at the Speedway, as you can see. And a great paint scheme to top it all off. What a finish.
You're like one of his teammates coming down, giving him a little congratulatory little bump there. And you're going to see this 88 burn it down here on the front stretch. And for you race fans at home.
What a drive, what a race, what a victory from Kendorian Davis, burning it down. He earned this one, that's for sure.
And what a performance by this 88. It didn't really look like he had the speed there at the end. I felt like the 51 and even the 53 maybe had him beat there, but took advantage of some chaos there at the end, got the lead, and never give it back. And Dorian Davis gonna park this thing into victory lane for the second week in a row here at Atlanta.
Just gotta hand it to him, man. I mean, went through such adversity throughout the race, had such a dominant car early on, but to be able to rally back mentally from spinning, getting onto pit road on a routine green flag stop, you just gotta look at that and give him a hand, because I mean that just takes a lot of mental fortitude and determination to be able to put that aside and race for a win.
Well, we're gonna get ready to talk to your top three finishers, and while we wait on them to get ready to get into the booth and stuff, we'll go ahead and send you back over to our partners at iRacing while we get ready to get your post show here presented by High Velocity TV. So we'll be right back after some words from our partners over at iRacing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The Prestige Cup Series brought to you by Backmarker. Make sure to use code PRS10 at checkout for any of your backmarker needs. Admin Box. Make sure to use code PRS box at checkout for any of your admin box needs, whether that's for race adminning, race control, broadcasting, race control. As a driver, whatever you need, make sure to go to Admin Box. And also, huge shout out to Team Foster being a huge key partner for the Prestige Cup Series and the Prestige Racing League. Team Foster, a organization to help get service dogs to wounded veterans in need. So a great organization for everybody to take advantage of. And thank you to Team Foster for being a key partner here in the Prestige Cup Series. But I think it's that time that we start to talk to the top 3 finishers of tonight's race. And let's go ahead and talk to the man of the race here. Led 74 laps in tonight's race. Let's go ahead and talk to your race winner, and Dorian Davis. Hey, Dorian, it's Christian Matthew up here in the HPTV booth. You got a copy? Hey, Dorian, it's Christian and Matthew up here in the HPTV booth. You got a copy? Maybe. It looks like Dorian. Oh.
Hello?
Okay, it's Matthew and Christian up here in the booth. You got a copy, Dorian? We will wait on Dorian to fix his issues there. We'll go ahead and talk to your E3 finisher if we can find Benjamin Bushnell here. And look at him sneaking his way up here into the top 3. We'll have to talk to him about that. Hey, Benjamin, it's Christian and Matthew up here in the HVTV booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, really a sneaky podium for you here in this number 25 machine. You know, I would say was up here in the top 10 throughout the whole race, but, you know, obviously we did have a little bit of a chaotic, I would say, last 25 laps here. Looks like you got your way through the wrecks in a really good way and stuck your way up here in the top 3. Walk us through your race and walk us through those last closing laps.
Yeah, that first run, I burned my tires up so bad and kind of worked my way up to the top 10 and then kind of went backwards. Then figured something out, saving a little bit in the bottom, and I was able to start picking people off the second run and got up to like 7th or 8th. And then I waited a lap to go into the pits, and that's when the caution came out. So kind of got lucky there too. I mean, I've been so unlucky the last few weeks that sometimes it's turns your way, and that's what it did. So I'll take the top 3. Probably should have gotten one, the last few weeks. Got the pole, got taken into the wall, so. It is what it is. Got to take the good with the bad.
You got anything for Matthew?
I wanted to ask a really quick question. Obviously, first of all, congrats on the podium finish. But I really like the paint scheme, and I just wanted to hear if there was any particular motivation for the design or for the choice of the Nike on the hood and the rest of the car.
No, not really. I just, just a really cool scheme that I found and, started running. I haven't seen it anywhere else, so kind of good to be just a one-off from everybody else. It looks cool. Everybody likes Nike, so that's all.
Yeah, it stood out to me. But yeah, great run today, man. It was awesome to see you on the racetrack.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, before we let you go, Benjamin, is there anybody you'd like to thank here for sitting up here in the podium for tonight's race at Atlanta?
Just the Prestige guys for putting on the league. My wife for letting me do this, let me buy expensive stuff. Yeah, pretty much that's it.
Well, a great run for you tonight, and good way to, end the regular season here with a bang here as a podium. But once again, congratulations for your P3 finisher, and hopefully we can talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate what you do.
Yep. Bye. And that was Benjamin Bushnell, your P3 finisher. Let's go ahead and talk to your P2 finisher, Wyatt Thompson, this number 77 machine. Hey Wyatt, it's Matthew and Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Dude, how you doing?
Well, probably not as good as you sitting up here in the P2 position, but for you, Wyatt, it's been kind of an up and down season for you. I feel like you've always had, top 5, top 3 speed where you go, but a lot of the times it's been caught up in stuff out of your doing, and it's taking you out of out of opportunities to come up here and race for a win here, like you did tonight. But just walk us through your race, walk us through, those last couple of restarts.
I started from the pit lane. I think it got like shortened or something. It just kind of happens. It's something that happens. But after that first run, it went all green. That was a great run. I appreciate everyone for, at least somewhat respecting every other one's space and kind of just keeping it green that whole way was fun. I got up to P12, I think, for the stage, somewhere around in there. Not points paying, but definitely better than all the way last year I started. So after that, we had some good strategy going up until the caution, which I got super lucky on caution timing. I came out like a second in front of the leader, almost went a lap down. And I mean, once we got back going, I let Tenold and Christian go. I was going to let them burn their stuff up and kind of hang behind the secondary pack. And it was just caution after caution. Then we got taken out somewhere in there, and it just kind of spiraled. So P2 is a great night.
I want to ask you really quick, Wyatt. First of all, congrats on the podium. But I really like your paint scheme, and I wanted to ask, could you tell us a little bit about the Project Victoria and the choice for the paint scheme?
So Project Victoria is one of our team owners, sponsors. They do like Crown Victoria racing. Our 4 Mile is the guy that made our paint schemes. Our truck looks amazing. That is something I've never seen before. That's super good. I really like this cup car. It was off of a stealth mode Kevin Harvick diecast. What other sponsors are on it? I haven't quite seen it all the way, or don't remember it.
That's that thing with
Yeah,
I think it's
you
just
definitely
our
hit
Frost
the two that I
Motorsports.
saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Frost, Project Victoria, and 4 Mile. So yeah, it's a pretty great scheme. All in prestige on the back. The P is the prestige prospects coverage for baseball. I didn't realize
Awesome.
that
Yeah,
was
it was
back
great.
there.
You're good, man. It was great seeing that car on the racetrack, and wish you the best of luck moving forward. And yeah, great outing today at Atlanta, man.
All right, I appreciate y'all having the stream. I'll go back and watch it. Thank you for a great night.
Yeah, before we let you go, is there anybody else you want to thank for this P2 finish? Any obviously, you shout out your sponsors, but any friends, anybody watching at home?
My dad got on my simulator earlier. I want to thank him for giving me the joy of watching him struggle. A 6'6" dude getting in my 5'8" sim.
There you go. I mean,
So,
it's always fun having the fam, partaking in the hobbies and stuff. But once again, congratulations on this P2 finish. Hopefully, we'll talk to you a little bit later down here in the playoffs.
all right, appreciate it. Hopefully, you see me in Winter Circle sometime.
Yeah, we'll hope so. You have a good rest of the night.
All right, appreciate it.
And let's see if we can dial up your race winner once again here. Let's see if we can grab Dorian Davis, your race winner here in the 88 machine. Hey, Dorian, it's Christian Matthew up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, back to back here, two separate. It's funny, back to back in Atlanta, but two separate versions of it. But still two great runs for you. Going on a little bit of a roll here. Walk us through your race and kind of walk us through those last couple of restarts.
From the drop of the green, I knew we had a fast car. I knew I had a fast car. I was gonna try to put it in position as fast as I could, and once we get out and clean out with the next gen, all we have to do is just try to use that air to our advantage, and everything was working out just fine until I just screwed up it was kind of up and down always. I thought I had this one lost until the seas parted ways.
Yeah, I gotta say, Condorian, seeing you dominate at the beginning, lead a lot of laps, and then have that little bit of a slip up getting onto pit road. What was going through your mind, man? And how did you stay mentally focused to be able to make it through to the final final closing parts of this race and getting through a lot of those stages, or getting through a lot of those restarts? Because I'm telling you, man, it was really fun to see you come back through the field.
I was very hard on myself. I thought I just threw away another possible win. But as a race car driver, you gotta kind of put that out of your mind quick and go back at it. So I went down pit road, got the car fixed up best I could. I was gonna try to salvage anything I could from the day just to get points, and lo and behold, everything just worked out. We got back up there in position and won the race. I can't say enough about my good friends at Frost, everybody at M5R Racing, you guys that broadcast this event is awesome.
Yeah, appreciate those kind words. One last question for me. Tell me a little bit about your paint scheme. I loved seeing the Slurpee on the race car. I was talking about it from the drop of the green flag, but any particular reason for the paint scheme here at Atlanta?
We might have lost Kindorian. Like he was having some connection issues earlier. See if we can.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, sorry about that.
No, you're okay.
I don't know if you caught my question or not. I was just curious about your Slurpee paint scheme. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually had a friend of mine do this scheme, and I figured it would look pretty neat with the 88 on it. But once I got out on track, it really just blew my mind as to how good it looked.
Yeah, it looked pretty sweet seeing it come up through that field. So, obviously, congratulations on victory, going back to back, and wish you the best of luck moving forward. And one last thing before we let you go here, but anybody that you want to thank or shout out for your victory here tonight at Atlanta?
Yep, I definitely like to shout out to my good friends over at Frost Motorsports. My good friend JJ Moore, everybody at Mach 5 Racing. And once again, you guys for broadcasting this event. You always do a phenomenal job. Great to have you guys aboard.
Well, we definitely appreciate the kind words there. But once again, Kindorian, congratulations on this win. Obviously, this is the best way to get some momentum up going into the playoffs here, going back to back here. So hopefully we can talk to you maybe further down in the playoffs. Hopefully in victory lane some more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I hope so.
You have a good rest of the night, Kindorian. That was your race winner in Kindorian Davis. Back to back here, Atlanta, to close off your regular season for the season 2 of the Prestige Cup Series. And Matthew, I mean, what a bow tie to put on, this regular season. I mean, I feel like this race had a little bit of everything. We obviously had some good racing up there inside of that stage 1 to get to stage 1. Then we had some really long green flag runs. Remember, we got up to where we were going to get ready to get a green flag pit stops until, unfortunately, we just talked to him, your race winner, have a little bit of mistake down pit road, and then towards the end there, we did have a couple of slurry of cautions, so it seemed like a little bit of everything this race.
Yeah, definitely, Christian. And man, the amount of variety of racing product on the racetrack that we saw, like you mentioned, we saw long runs, short runs, restarts, caution periods, a lot of pit strategy as well. We had some guys staying out on old tires. We had some guys pitting and getting some really good jumps on the field after going down pit road. So we really had it all here, and I think we truly got to see a full night of racing in all aspects. But yeah, huge shout out to everybody in the field, and obviously the Prestige Cup Series, everyone else involved with this group and organization, because they definitely know how to put on a good show. So they're definitely worth following them throughout the rest of their season as we exit the regular season.
I definitely agree. You know, we've had some really good finishes put on throughout. We've had some dominators, right? And before Jacob Quill was removed from the league, we saw him dominate a couple races. But besides that, you know, there's always been some really good hard runs here. Obviously, we saw, you know, the Kendorian last week winning a photo finish at Atlanta. Obviously, more super speedway style track, but always always a good show here in the Prestige Cup Series. I really haven't, in my opinion, have never called a snoozer here, and I've been here for every race here for season 2 of the Prestige Cup Series. But for the last time, we'll go through, and we haven't really done it yet. We'll go through your unofficial race results here from uh Atlanta Motor Speedway. Obviously, we just talked to your race winner, Kendorian Davis, victorious here at Atlanta. White Thompson, P2. Benjamin Bushnell, P3. We talked to those top 3. Gabriel Ngoli with a good finish back there in P4. And Justin Wilkes, where did he come from up here in the top 5? Christian Zarate will battle back to a P6. White Youngblood, P7. Oliver Quinney, P8. Jonathan Dolly, P9. And running out that top 10 is going to be Gio Turpin and Matthew. We'll let you take the rest of the way for the rest of the results.
Yeah, in the 11th spot, Joseph Enright almost able to get that top 10 running that Tribute 911 paint. Alex Kaczynski in the 72 car, 12th position. Obviously, not the night that he wanted, getting caught up in wrecks. Love to see him come back next. Andrew Tenold in the 51. Likewise, he also was fighting for the battle in lead and didn't get the result he wanted in the 13th place, but definitely got higher than he could have been. 85, Brandon Kiger. Definitely also not the result that he wanted, not even being able to finish the event as we see. But once again, caught up in some incidents on the racetrack. Zach Hayes, 66. We saw him get caught up with the 84 Brian White, who finished right behind him in that turn 3 crash. Devin Galvin in 7th spot, number 9 car. Nicholas Ammons, 09 car. And JJ Moore rounding out your field.
Yeah, only 19, well, technically 18 cars who showed up tonight for the season finale, the regular season finale, but still put on a phenomenal show for you guys at home. But I think we don't got anything else for you guys. But so for the people over here in the HVTV booth, for myself and alongside Matthew Perchaski, we appreciate everybody for coming out. And once again, a huge shout out to Matthew for stepping in and being a part of the broadcast booth. Obviously, Peter Terrio could not make it for tonight's coverage of the Prestige Racing, the Prestige Cup Series regular season finale here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. But we'll be right here back on the channel tomorrow for the AWC Pro Series at Pocono Raceway. Kind of up in the air if who's going to be here in the booth yet, but besides that, we'll have a broadcast tomorrow night for some racing up there in northern Pennsylvania, and then we'll be right back here to start your playoffs here for the Prestige Cup Series next Thursday for the start of the round of 16 here for the Prestige Cup Series. But once again, from everybody here in the HV3 booth, myself, Christian Olgato, your lead producer, commentator, and here from Matthew Perchaski. Once again, thank you to Matthew for stepping in last minute to fill in for Peter. We appreciate everybody for coming out. We hope everybody has a good rest of the night, and prayers to everybody. Remember, it's been a tough week for everybody involved, but prayers to anybody who needs it, and we'll see you guys as soon as possible. Hope everybody has a good rest of the night. We'll see you guys soon.